Hey guys, it's Sarah. So today's video is going to be a tag video. This is the Truthful YouTuber Tag. This is a super old tag. I think it's been around for like 2 years and I'm just now getting around to doing it. It's been kind of on my back burner list of videos that I've wanted to film for a while and that I just haven't gotten around to filming, and I feel like Vlogmas is the perfect time to sprinkle in all those videos that I haven't gotten around to filming yet because I'm uploading every day. So the Truthful YouTuber Tag, I believe, was started by Mel Thompson, and a bunch of people have done it. I've seen Samantha Ravendall, Raw Beauty Christie. I saw Butte Bean do it a few months ago, and that was when I was like, oh, I should film that. So lots of people have done it. I'm very late to the party, but it's basically a bunch of questions about kind of the behind the scenes of YouTube, some kind of spill the tea kind of questions. I don't know if I have a lot of tea to spill, but sometimes it's fun to kind of pull back the curtain and share about some juicier behind the scenes kind of stuff. So let's go ahead and get into it. Question number 1, have you ever received a product, tried it, didn't like it, and then decided not to review it? I don't think so, at least not intentionally. I pretty much review everything that comes in, whether I buy it or receive it in PR, just because I have a manageable amount of stuff in my collection. I try to keep it that way so that I can pretty much share my thoughts on everything that comes into my life, whether it's makeup or skincare. That's a lot of the reason why I like to do speed reviews on my channel. It's a way for me to like round up all the things I've been testing and just get my reviews out there. So I don't think there's anything that I've received in PR that I decided not to review because I didn't like it. There may be some things that I didn't review just because I thought they were boring and people wouldn't care about them. Like, I think I received like some skincare from Zion Health that I was like, I don't think anybody's interested in this. It was pretty mediocre. There was like a mask that I only used a couple times. I didn't even really like it, but I didn't review it not because I didn't like it, but just because like I didn't think anybody would care. Also, sometimes, this doesn't happen often because again, I don't get a ton of PR, but if I receive something that I'm not interested in trying at all, and I'd rather just like donate it or pass it on while it's brand new, because I know I'm not going to use it and maybe it doesn't have a place in my collection, then I won't show it or review it just because I'm not going to test it out anyway. Question number 2, a product you use alone but don't show or use online. No, I pretty much show everything because even if I don't show it like as I'm using it, it'll eventually make its way into a speed reviews video or an empties video. I feel like I've pretty much talked about everything in my collection at some point or another because I don't have a huge collection and there's nothing that I'm like intentionally not showing you. Product you want but won't buy because you don't support the brand. The only products I can think of that I want to be able to buy but can't are things that I've already tried from brands that I no longer support. So there are some brands that have either maybe lost their cruelty-free status, or like, for example, I love the Too Faced Born This Way concealer and I currently have that. I use it most days, but I'm not going to repurchase it once I run out of it, even though I want to. I just don't really want to support Too Faced. Same with Becca. I love their highlighters, but I have decided not to support Estee Lauder brands, at least for the foreseeable future, just due to some racial issues that have come up about the company, which I can link the article below if you want to read about that. I talked about that in another video recently too. But those are some examples of brands whose products I love and that I would love to buy more of in the future, but I won't. And then there are some other brands that I just don't support that you don't see on my channel, but I don't really struggle with feeling tempted to buy from those brands because I kind of just don't really pay attention to them since I know they're just not on my radar. So I think the only ones that I want but won't buy because I can't support them anymore are things that I've already tried and fallen in love with, like the Too Faced concealer, the Becca highlighters, the Physicians Formula, Healthy Foundation, things like that. Question 4, do you have any blocked words? I do not. Fortunately, I haven't had to block any specific words on my channel. If you're not familiar, in kind of the back end of YouTube, creators can set specific words to be filtered out of the comments. So if there's any like, I don't know, maybe profanity or certain words that tend to be used a lot in their comments that they don't want in their comments, they can just filter it out. For the most part, you guys are really positive and kind in the comments, so there hasn't really been any words that have needed to be blocked. But I do like that YouTube has that feature. if, you know, certain things do become an issue. I think it's good to be able to just block those things altogether. Question 5, do you delete comments? If so, why? So I don't typically just flat out delete comments. Normally, if there's a comment that is a problem, I will hide that user from my channel, which is actually number 6, do you block people? So we'll kind of combine these two because they kind of go hand in hand. You can't actually block people on YouTube, but you can hide users from your channel, which is kind of the same thing. If you hide someone from your channel, they can still watch your videos and they won't know that they've been blocked. They can still leave comments, but you don't have to keep seeing their comments. Other people don't see their comments in your comment section, so it's a win-win. They can keep getting whatever satisfaction they get out of commenting, but you don't have to see it. It doesn't have to affect your mental health, or, you know, you don't have to waste any energy on it. So I love that feature. I don't use it often at all. I used to think like, oh, I'll never delete comments. I think people should be allowed to just have their voice and use their voice. But now I'm kind of like, you know what? No, it's my comment section. YouTube has another really cool feature where you can search a username and see all the comments they've ever left on your channel. So normally if I get a comment that's kind of like, oh, that's rude, I'll search their name and see if they've left comments before. If most of the time they're really nice and like this just happened to be a time that they were kind of rude, I probably won't hide them. A lot of times it's the first time they've ever commented and it's just super random and like a troll comment. I'll probably just hide them right away because they're obviously not like a regular engaged viewer. And if also I search their name and I see like a lot of similar just kind of like nonsense comments, I'll also hide them that way. So a few examples of things that would warrant me hiding someone would be like racism, any kind of racism, anything that's just like completely unwarranted and not constructive. Like I will happily take constructive feedback. If you've ever left constructive feedback on my channel, you know that. Like I'm always happy to hear that. But it's when it's not constructive or it's just flat out rude. Oh, and then also, sometimes there will be people who are like just here to insert their opinion and we're clearly like not even having the same conversation. And they just maybe like took one thing I said at the very beginning of the video and just like stated all their arguments and they didn't listen to a word I said. Though, like people like that, they're not here to have a discussion or like inappropriate things, or if somebody comments something that just like makes me feel kind of uncomfortable, I don't have time for it. So, but I want to emphasize that that does not happen often. And I don't like to like really draw attention to those kinds of things most of the time because 99.9% of you guys are so kind and supportive and constructive in your comments. And that's what I want to focus on. I don't want to focus on the like 0.1% of just people who don't really deserve to get any of my energy or any of you guys' energy. Number 7, have you ever lied about a product to stay on good terms with the brand? No, there's really just never a reason to do that in my opinion. Like there is really no brand relationship that is more important to me than my relationship with you guys. I do want to say that like I think there can still be bias with PR products, especially as a small creator. I think that people automatically assume small creators are trustworthy and then larger creators are untrustworthy, but I really don't think it's that like black and white. I think that especially small creators might be really excited to be noticed by a major brand, that they might be a little more biased just because they've never gotten that kind of recognition before. And it's something like I try to be very aware of. For myself, like with PR, there have been some products I've reviewed in PR where I wasn't aware of the price of the product, or I wasn't as conscious of the cost of that product because I didn't spend my own money on it. And that's an issue that I've like corrected now. But now when I receive PR, I try to be very mindful of the cost of the product and sort of put myself in the shoes of somebody who did spend their money on it, even though I didn't, because I think it's very easy to get PR and just not even really think about how much it costs because you didn't buy it. So that's the only time I think I've been maybe a little bit biased without meaning to. But like I said, I feel like I have kind of corrected that now, so that shouldn't be an issue anymore. But I've never flat out lied about a product just to stay on good terms with the brand. I think that's dumb. Like, why would you need to do that? Number 8, have you ever initially liked a product when you reviewed it and then changed your mind but didn't let your audience know? I definitely have changed my mind about a product before. In fact, I think I change my mind about products all the time. There's a lot of products in my collection that I love that I didn't initially love, and there's some products that I don't love now that I loved when I first reviewed them. So I change my mind all the time, but I always try to update you guys when I do, and I'm pretty sure, I don't think there's anything I've changed my mind about that I haven't let you guys know about. I've done some videos like products I've changed my mind about. Other times I've just let you know in various other videos. But yeah, I always try to keep you guys updated. If I ever didn't let you know that I changed my mind about something, it was not intentional. Number 9, influencer you don't trust. I feel like I just don't follow influencers that I don't trust or that I get untrustworthy vibes from. I honestly can't even think of anybody that I'm like, oh, I don't trust this person. Like, I have a pretty short list of channels that I'm subscribed to begin with. I like to just keep it curated so that I can actually watch every video or almost every video from everybody that I'm subscribed to. I really don't have any that I don't trust, at least that I can name right now. Number 10, influencer you trust the most. All of the ones that I watch, pretty much. I guess I would probably say Emily Noel, just because she has been doing YouTube for so many years. Like, I think she's been on YouTube since like 2007, and I've been watching her since probably 2010. Like, I've been watching her for a long time. I feel like I've kind of grown up with her, and I mean, she is just very true to herself. She's tried so much makeup. I don't think I have the same taste in makeup as she does, but I have never once doubted that she was telling the truth about a product. Secret tips or product application you don't show while on camera. Usually I'll skip over brows and mascara and like eyelid primer, but I always do all 3 of those steps. And I'll usually tell you what I used, but I don't necessarily feel the need to show that if I'm doing like a get ready with me or something. I'll probably just say, okay, brows are done, let's move on. Like, I don't really like to keep that in just because it takes forever, and I feel like I need to focus on my brows, so I will usually either speed through that or cut it out of the video, but there's no like secret things that I'm not showing. I don't know why I would do that. Number 12, have you ever showed one product but were actually using another? No, I don't even know why I would do that. Number 13, have you ever not disclosed a sponsorship? No. I think I've only ever done 4 sponsored videos. 3 were with Ana Luisa, and 1 was with Seabay, the reusable makeup wipes that I did in my first vlog of Vlogmas. So I don't do a ton of sponsorships, and I would never not disclose a sponsorship. It's against the law, for one, and if I'm working with a brand, I'm proud to be working with them, so I don't need to hide it. I think there are some shady brands that will like try to get influencers to do a sponsorship kind of like under the table, you know? If a brand ever asked me to do that, I would immediately cut them off and not respond to them ever again. Have you ever had a bad interaction with a brand? I can think of one. I think I'm pretty good at recognizing brands that I should just not respond to that are, usually they come off shady in their first email, and I just either don't respond or I'll just say like, no thank you immediately. But there was one brand a couple years ago before I really knew what I was doing or how to really interact with brands. It was, I'm not gonna say the name of the brand, but if you've been around for a while, then you might know who I'm talking about, but it was a nail product brand. And it was just before I knew how to handle like PR and the difference between PR and a collaboration. So basically they sent me some of their products and they wanted me to show them in a video, which I was like, sure. I mean, anything I'm getting in PR, I'm probably going to show in a video anyway, because it's not like I get much PR at that time. But they started like giving me deadlines, and they were like, you know, make sure to send us the link when you've posted it. And then after I sent them the link, they're like, okay, now can you post this about our upcoming sale on your Instagram stories? And they were just getting very pushy and demanding, and they weren't paying me. Like they sent me the product, which I thought it was just like a PR package, you know, like I didn't understand the difference between just a PR package and like working with a brand. And so they were kind of just trying to get free promotion out of me, which I understand now. But at the time, it was just super annoying, and they've reached out to me several times since then to send me more stuff, and I've just never responded again because I'm just like, y'all are annoying. Like, you can't I hate the way brands will try to take advantage of small creators who don't know any better. I think at the time I had maybe 2,000 subscribers and I was just excited to be contacted by any brand. But now I know if a brand was asking that much of me, then I would know to either charge them, or if I don't want to do a sponsored video with them, it's just not a good fit. So the important thing I think I learned from that is that if a brand wants to send me something, I'm very clear up front. Like, I can't guarantee that I'm going to mention this in a video, but if you're okay with that, feel free to send it over. Otherwise, if they're sending you deadlines, if they're sending you like an outline of things they want you to say in the video, they're trying to get free advertising out of you. I don't care how small your channel is or how small of a following you have. If a brand is reaching out to you, wanting you to promote their product, that's because they see something in you. I actually think that small creators have oftentimes an even stronger connection with their audience because they have a smaller audience. They're able to interact with their audience more. Their audience may feel like they're more relatable because they're smaller. So it really irritates me when brands try to kind of prey on small creators' connection with their audience, because a lot of small creators just don't know any better, and I was one of those. Number 15, have you ever bandwagoned with other people's thoughts on a particular product? Not intentionally. I feel like sometimes it's hard not to when there's a new product, lots of people are reviewing it. It's hard not to let other people's opinions on products influence your opinion on products. Typically, if I'm reviewing a new product, I try not to watch any other reviews on it until after I've already reviewed mine. That way, I'm not like subconsciously letting other people's thoughts get into my head without me realizing it. Because I do think it happens. I think it can happen, but I try not to let that happen as best I can. And then question 16, this is the last question. Things other creators do that get on your nerves. Okay, I probably have a few, but one that comes to mind is when creators and influencers say that they don't like the word influencer. I feel like a lot of YouTubers will say, especially larger ones who are definitely influencers, like definitely at the level of being called an influencer, is like, oh, I don't like the word influencer. It just feels gross to me. Like, I don't like being called an influencer. And I don't understand why influencer has become a bad word. I feel like a lot of the reason why people say that is because they don't want to come to terms with what their job actually is. But I don't think it has to be a bad thing. I don't think being an influencer has to be something negative. All it means is that you have an audience and therefore you have an influence on that audience. You can have a positive influence on that audience or a negative influence on that audience. Yeah, it can feel, I guess it feels kind of icky to know that you're influencing a lot of people's purchases, but I don't know, like if I guess I would be considered like a nano influencer at my size. I am proud to have that title. Like, I'm proud to be an influencer, even though my reach is still quite small. To me, it's cool. Like, I can influence you guys to go out and vote. I can influence you guys to be more mindful with your purchases. I can influence you guys to support, small businesses. Like, if you have a positive influence on people, then I don't see why you would feel ashamed to be referred to as an influencer. So that is the Truthful YouTuber tag. Lots of juicy questions. I feel like I didn't have a whole lot of like tea to spill, but it was still fun to kind of chat about some of the, I guess, behind the scenes of being on YouTube. This is a super old tag. I know a lot of people have already done it, but if any fellow YouTubers are watching this that want to film it, I tag you. But that is all for today. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I'd love to see you again very soon, and hopefully I will talk to you tomorrow in my next video. Bye.